now we're gonna go into what she did because she was a top cop, right? Prosecutor, hence why crime went up when like crime convictions went up when she was in the DA's office. But then she was also a progressive prosecutor, so she was at the same time soft on crime, but she was soft on crime in a different form. So progressive prosecutors mean that they believe in criminal reform. So during her time, I'm going to read here, but she also speaks the language of progressive prosecutor, a catch-all term prosecutors who seek to reform the criminal justice system. They do not share a single set of policies, says Carissa Byrne-Hessek, a law professor who directs the prosecutors and politics projects at the University of North Carolina. Your state, guys, represent. Rather, the unifying thread is an ethos about not being punitive for the sake of being punitive. Ms. Harris wrote that harsh laws and long sentences are too often used to deal with the entire crime pyramid. So she did this whole like back on track program, right, when she was in the DA's office. And she replaced, program that replaced prison sentences with education and job training for one group of felons, which are nonviolent and first-time drug offenders. However, that problem, there was an issue with that program. It didn't vet out the criminals that came here illegally. So she was giving these job program trainings to illegal criminals who are not even supposed to be here. So they crossed the border illegally, already committed a crime national security wise, and then they committed another crime against the state, and instead of you prosecuting him and sending his ass to jail or prison, you're reforming him because he's a first-time criminal. Of course, it's the first time he's ever been here. He's an immigrant. So she got a lot of shit for that. But what the worst part about it is there was a guy who shot a cop, killed the cop, and she didn't prosecute that guy either. Okay. There was no death penalty for the guy who killed the cop.
Okay.
And then the last thing, this was all under DA. I'm not even hitting Attorney General. They did this law that's really screwed up California right now. It's called the Proposition 47, which pretty much makes it changes the crime bracket. So now if you have stolen $900 worth of goods, you no longer are a felon. You're now a misdemeanor. So now theft has skyrocketed in California because of that law that, again, she signed off on to be implemented in California.
Okay.
So, yeah, push back on that, please, because this person clearly, I think she wants crime. I don't think she wants to like actually stop.
It sounds like there are good intentions with unintended consequences. Prison reform has been a big goal for honestly a lot of people who have ever actually had to interact with prisoners or have had family go to prison, especially for like you're talking about the limit from $900 going up to induce a felony. There are people that like when they were younger and didn't make the best decisions, because that happens, right? That you make a bad decision when you're 18, 19, you steal a TV or something like that, and then you're now a felon and you have significantly less rights as an American, natural born or not.
But at the end of the day, you still committed a crime. It doesn't matter if it was a bad mistake.
Yeah, but everyone who hasn't done something wrong every once in a while, right?
But one thing is
it depends on what the crime is,
right? But it's still a crime.
A crime's a crime, but so is jaywalking, and so is like turning.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's not the same thing as stealing like private property. That's why it's so much significant in value. That's why you have longer time, because you're literally stealing somebody's property.
I feel like it's safe to assume that's why they increased the value, or increased the minimum value of stolen goods for it to be called a felony versus a misdemeanor, because you can't have on one hand people that commit crimes such as like influential people's children who will go and drunk drive and kill a family of 4 and get off with like 2 years in the clink. But then at the same hand, you have people that are doing it's still a crime, but it's a crime of insignificant damage to the populace, the economy, anyone around them. So something like that, where, hey, I get it. You were young. You made this mistake. You may have been in a position where you felt like you really needed this. Let's take this from a felony to a misdemeanor, and we'll make it to where you can get your life back on track. You can get out of the system, because what happens when you get someone in the prison system as a
It
felon,
just goes down.
it's all it is it's a drain. It's a no, what's it called? It's a spiral. It sets it to where your only direction is either more crime or just stay in jail forever. Whether or not you're supposed to get on good behavior, because the prison system is awful. We have a for-profit prison system in the country.
Yeah, I got something to say, because that's not gonna, like, long time, and like death penalty is not gonna deter people, especially when it comes to stealing. You have a family who have, like, let's say they have a few kids and they got no money, they have to fucking steal. They're going to steal whether they like it or not. Now the dad's in jail. He's a felon. Now he still has to resort back to stealing again. He still has to, like, it hasn't changed anything. If anything, it's just making it worse for the family.
I think that it's really easy and even naive to believe that because you're poor, you have to commit crimes in order to better your life or your children's life, when in fact you're only making yourself poorer because you refuse to actually work for what you are stealing. If you want that 6-inch TV, work for it. Of course, it's going to be easy to be like, yeah, let me just steal this, and then let me just like get a slap on the wrist because it's, I'm so poor me, let me just continue committing crime over and over again, because at the end of the day, they're not taking me seriously because I'm poor. It's like an empathy. It's like to me, it's naive to be empathetic to people that refuse to want to better themselves. So they instead want to steal from people that actually do want to better themselves. Why is it fair for a business owner to work his ass off to own a business that he has to pay a lease on, have goods and services that he's sharing with the public who actually pay taxes to buy them, and then somebody who wants to be a deadbeat, doesn't want to work his ass off for a living, goes in there and steals from the person that did?